Hello, my name is AJ Santosuosso, and I'm here to speak to you about Buddhism and its influence in the West. Buddhism is a fascinating religion, and as the world's fourth largest religion, it is no surprise it's had a hand in influencing many things. What I wish to explore is Buddhist art's influence in America through painting and television as the two mediums, focusing on the art pieces with Buddhist inspiration and American fusion, and with special attention to the American-made and created TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. To research the paintings, I first went to the Rubin Museum of Art to do research on the Buddhist art and browse through the exhibit there. While browsing, I found a few pieces of art that were Buddhist and American fusion created with a modern take on them. Importantly, most traditional Buddhist art pieces are depictions of those on their journey towards Buddhahood, deities, and gods within the religion. While I was researching, I found the book Buddhism and Art by Martin Wickramasinghe, a book exploring traditional Buddhism as well as the influence it had on American artists. Within the book, Martin's opinion on Buddhist art and its beginnings stood out to me. He said, Buddhist artists had to create the figure of a human being who attained, by a process of contemplation and ethical discipline, prajna, or non-dual knowledge. The basis of Buddhist art is psychological and aesthetic realism and symbolism. This idea of capturing that image is what I believe inspired Buddhist artists to have such iconographic pieces of art. One example of such is a piece called Yaksha General Anila, which is a painting depicting the 51 deities of the mandala of the Medicine Buddha. This iconographic design style depicting a deity remains as a choice even for artists now. While researching, my favorite contemporary piece I discovered was called Wrathful Activity, Fierce Energy. This piece, created in 2018, blends the classic iconographic depiction of deities but has a contemporary Western take on it. The piece is not made on a canvas, but is instead outlined using neon lights, a very non-traditional Buddhist design choice. This choice in depicting a Buddhist deity reflects traditional Buddhism while having an inspired Western artist create it using a new and modern medium. The method by which Buddhism has been able to penetrate so deeply into American art is most likely due to its traditional method of teaching being passed from teacher onto student. In the book, Nothing and Everything, The Influence of Buddhism on the American Avant-Garde, Ellen Perelman says, early Buddhist influence in the American arts passed from teacher to student in a manner similar to how Buddhist teachings spread through India, China, Japan, Korea, Tibet, and other Southeast Asian countries. This has been a main cause because any student who learns under a master will inevitably branch out and in an effort create these impressive fusions, and then that student becomes a master and teaches it, and so on. The influence Buddhism has had goes beyond simple painting as well. It has become a part of many people's childhoods due to the influence it had on the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. The show drew heavily on Buddhist influence while creating the group called the Air Nomads. The Air Nomads are depicted with bald heads, robes, meditation, and they practice vegetarianism like real-life monks. In the show, the monks used a method to discover the reincarnating avatar, like the method used to determine the next Dalai Lama. In the show, a young Aang, the avatar and main character, is presented with a room full of toys, and he chose 4 which had belonged to previous avatars. The test to determine the next Dalai Lama is done with objects that belonged to previous Dalai Lamas. The show was written by Americans and aired on American networks. The question becomes, why in 2005 would the writers go out of their way to make a group of people so much like Buddhist monks? I think it simply is because Buddhism has made such an impact on American culture that they would be remiss not to include something of that magnitude and importance in a show that draws heavily on Eastern influences from every section of life. This show, I believe, helped Buddhism be transported to the West and influence the West even more than it already had, especially if you consider how many people watched Avatar as children in the early 2000s. Now, what did I learn? I learned how deep Buddhism's influence in America and in the West in general has gone. I also learned more about Buddhism in general, which I'm very grateful for, as I do not know as much about Eastern religions as I should. I very much enjoyed the history of Buddhism, its openness to all people, and I'm very happy I got the chance to work on this. Thank you very much.